Hi, I'm Bonnie with Floyd Ministries, and I have a really cool God story to share with you. Last month, we took a team, an all-women team, over to the islands of Antigua and Barbuda. And we had a mini conference on the island of Barbuda for the women who have returned home to the island after Hurricane Irma completely decimated it. And when I was planning for this event, I was told to not expect more than 10 or 15 women. And I thought, why? Because I know that over 500 have returned. And they said, because they probably just won't come. And being my persistent self, I said, well, let's just say they did come. How many could I hope for? And they said, maybe 30. And I said, okay, we'll cater for 40. And so we took a small plane and we flew over there. And when we got to the church, there were just a couple of ladies. And then a few more came, and a few more came, and a few more came. And before we knew it, we had 40 women. And it was unexpected and it was exciting. We started out with worship and a spoken word and a testimony by one of the girls on the mission team. And then the Lord spoke to me and he said, I want you to change your plans. I want you to do my plan. And at that, I stepped down and I had all the women make a big circle. And I shared with the women that we wanted to have them share with us. We wanted to engage with them. I gave them no guidelines. All I said was, we want you to share whatever God has put on your heart. And so it started, and the first lady began to share about what it was like to live through the hurricane. And we sat there with our mouths wide open, listening to the terrifying night that she lived through. And then the next one went. And then the next one was a grandma. And she shared about how she had her children and her grandchildren and how she was trying to gather them all together, but they didn't feel or sense or even believe the severity that was coming. And so when it came, it hit, and it hit hard, and they weren't prepared, and all that they lived through with their house filling with water and their roof coming off. And it was story after story after story. But then this one older wise woman sat up in her chair and she said, Hurricane Irma should have brought Barbuda closer together than ever before. But right now, we are more divided than we ever were. Churches aren't helping all people. Churches aren't helping other churches. Neighbors aren't being neighborly. All the cars are mashed up except for a few, and those that have cars drive down the road and they don't offer rides to anyone. This is not how it should be. You could have heard a pin drop. And then this young woman, 25 years old, she spoke up and she said, please forgive me. I am guilty of that. And then she began to speak about the youth, on behalf of the youth, and not giving up on them and encouraging them even in their bad behavior. And then another woman went and she asked for forgiveness, that she was guilty of that very same thing. And before you knew it, you could just watch the Holy Spirit just wave around the whole entire circle. And there was such a love and such a sense of community that was forming amongst a divided people. And it was one of the most beautiful things that I have ever experienced. And I said to these women, I said, have you had the opportunity since September 5th to share your stories and your feelings? And we received a unified no, that they have never gathered like this. And what the Lord showed me is that there were absolute denominational lines. And what God brought Floyd Ministries and our mission team to do on the island of Barbuda was to form a sisterhood that crossed all denominational lines. And so we prayed and we vowed to stay together. We got all of their contact information and we're going to communicate. And every time I go, we're going to have a sisterhood gathering. And so you never know what God has in store. We thought that we were going to go and deliver the spoken word and have some worship and really encourage these people that have been through so much. But God's plan was so much better than ours. And what he did was he brought us to the island of Barbuda to be a conduit of his hand of healing, reconciliation. And I am so blessed to have been a part of that. So I will keep you posted on the sisterhood. Whenever I have any news to share, I will, because this is an exciting story.